Now, here at Cultaholic, we are aware that a lot of people have been asking, is this a cult? What are your rules? Am I going to have to kill a dude? To which we respond, Cultaholic is anything you want it to be, as long as you want it to be a website and YouTube channel about professional wrestling, and also, yes, you have to kill a dude. But cults aren't exclusive to the internet. For example, it shouldn't surprise you, considering that factions are a thing, that there have been a lot of creepy stables in the wrestling industry. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com, and here are the 10 most disturbing cults in professional wrestling. Join us. Number 10, the Dungeon of Doom. Okay, so the Dungeon of Doom are actually less disturbing and more just sort of ridiculous, but they're a bunch of extra normal kooks driven by a common purpose, so on the list they pop. For those who thought the WWF cornered the market in goofy, colourful BS in the mid-90s, I present the Dungeon of Doom, a raggy dolls parade of crap gimmicks united under the common goal of destroying Hulkamania. There was a shark, a yeti, a big show, Brutus Beefcake dressed like a Tim Burton candy cane, for some reason Vader at one point, Kamala, all under the scheming tutelage of Kevin Sullivan, aka the Taskmaster. There was an old creepy dude in a chair, a weird smoky lair with not hot water, look it up, giant glowing blocks of ice, and sumo truck wrestling. Come to think of it, the Dungeon of Doom might be the best thing that's ever happened in wrestling at any time. Number 9, Right to Censor. Right to Censor actually only lasted for just under a year, but goddammit if they didn't make us feel it every single week. Their gimmick was a Mary Whitehouse-style morality group, dedicated to curbing the dubious excesses of the Attitude Era, and they were devastatingly effective at getting heat. From their quasi-religious overtones to beyond Mormon dress code, to their millions of robots bumping into each other in a narrow hallway theme music. They comprised an ex-porn star, an ex-pimp, an ex-blue man, a current Bull Buchanan, and Ivory, one of the most underrated women in WWE's history, by the way. Everyone hated them. They were awful, and brilliant at what they did. Number 8, the Wyatt Family. Every day that the Wyatt family hasn't reformed is a wasted day. The Backwater Bays were straight up jostling with the Shield to see who was the coolest thing in 2013, as mad as that seems today, and they had everything they needed to succeed. A charismatic cult leader, a fresh gimmick with untapped vignette potential, a really strong underboss tag team, and the business plan to grow. The Wyatt family could have been a ministry for the modern age. Now, Bray is haunting tractors and cosplaying. It's, poor Bray. Number 7, Sanity. Hand on my cultist heart, I didn't really like Sanity when they started out. They seemed like the Wyatt family, only with less defined goals, which is saying something. But goddamn if their infectious, entertaining brand of madness hasn't won me around. There's still a little bit chaos, copy and paste, and I don't know why an anarchy group wants to wrestle, but let's not pull at that thread. They have really good matches, have a nice, if okay, you can probably shave 4 minutes off of this entrance, and they're just fun to have around. They're a good cult, good bunch of lads. Number 6, The Brood. Certain things in this world are certain. Pizza is delicious. We're all going to die, sorry for bringing that up, and The Brood had one of the best entrances in wrestling history. Sure, they were vampires and puffy Georgian shirt vampires at that, which is stupid, but they also rose to the ramp through a ring of fire to a theme song that still remains ultra badass. If you were precisely the right age, they were the best, most disturbing, most whoa thing going. If not, they were really daft. But that kind of 90s daft that you can't help but forgive, like Power Rangers, or every single item of clothing Will Smith ever wore in The Fresh Prince. Number 5, the Straight Edge Society. We're getting into actually proper disturbing territory now, or as disturbing as you can get with Festus and Joey Mercury involved. For anyone who only started watching wrestling in 2014, CM Punk was super hot on the microphone. He's got words. He also looks like this, so when he formed his own stable, it made sense for it to go full Manson. When the faction worked, it really worked. From shaving Serena's head to creepily serenading Rey Mysterio's daughter on her birthday to Punk's phenomenal preaching during the 2010 Royal Rumble. It may have been way too short-lived, but it was an effective cult with clear, straight-edge aims and numerous memorable moments from its exalted leader. Number 4, Age of the Fall. It goes without saying that to stand out in the wrestling biz, you need to make a good debut, and Age of the Fall might have just had one of the greatest debut segments of any faction ever. In a truly shocking moment, the group, then consisting of leader Jimmy Jacobs as well as Necro Butcher, Lacey and Tyler Black, look kids, it's Seth Rollins, hooray, strung up a bleeding Jay Briscoe who then proceeded to drip blood all over Jacobs as he delivered a sermon in a white suit that became increasingly red. Gruesome, but effective. The cult lasted 2 years in ROH, accruing new members including Zach Gowen, yes, that one, tag gold, cryptic blog posts aplenty, and many people being hit with Jacob's nasty spike. Number 3, the Army of Darkness. Remember Kevin Sullivan from Dungeon of Doom? Remember how silly he was? Well, it turns out that leading cults has always sort of been Sullivan's gimmick, and back in the 80s, he actually made a proper scary one, called the Army of Darkness. Under his Satanist gimmick, Sullivan assembled his motley crew of evildoers in the CWF promotion in Florida, and they would do genuinely unsettling heel work like painting their faces and entering draped in snakes. Also, it was definitely a sex thing. People were led around in leather and chains, and this is what Kevin Sullivan looks like. Oh. Number 2, Raven's Nest. Speaking of dudes who just can't help starting factions full of other evil dudes, what's that? Starting another cult, are we? That's so Raven. The dangle-hair corner croucher has started plenty of cultish factions in his time: Serotonin, The Gathering, Raven's Flock, Necro Ward, Jesus Christ, but you never forget your first, and that's Raven's Nest. The King of Grunge accomplished what few that have aped his style have managed. His stable actually felt like a cult, in that it wasn't just a small contained cult of personality, but it actually grew, spread like a virus, carried his message. His sermons were legendary, and the Nest contributed some of ECW's most shocking moments, like the crucifixion of the Sandman. Number 1, Ministry of Darkness. Well, obviously, there's been no wrestling cult more high profile than that led by the dead man himself, The Undertaker. The Ministry formed in October '98, promising a plague of evil, and well, they gave it a pretty good try, crucifying Steve Austin, abducting and trying to marry Stephanie McMahon in a dark ceremony, burning symbols on people's lawns, trying to embalm people alive, flagellating members, changing Dennis Knight into Midian via an actual blood ceremony live on national TV. What a load of jolly hockey sticks. The group only actually lasted 6 months all in, but sweet Christ, they made sure they filled their minutes. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com, and don't forget, join us.